Changes in import statement Python 3. I don't understand the following from Peppo404. In Python 3, implicit relative imports within packages are no longer available, only absolute imports and explicit relative imports are supported. In addition, star imports, for example from Ximport, are only permitted in module-level code. What is a relative import? In what other places star import was allowed in Python 2? Please explain with examples.
Relative import happens whenever you are importing a package relative to the current script/package. Consider the following tree for example. Now, your derive.py requires something from base.py. In Python 2, you could do it like this, in derive.py. Python 3 no longer supports that since it's not explicit whether you want the relative or absolute base. In other words, if there was a Python package named base installed in the system, you'd get the wrong one. Instead it requires you to use explicit imports which explicitly specify location of a module on a path-alike basis. Your derive.py would look like. The leading dot says import base from module directory, in other words, .base maps to ./base.py. Similarly, there is .prefix which goes up the directory hierarchy like with .mod mapping to ./mod.py, and then which goes 2 levels up, ./mod.py, and so on. Please however note that the relative paths listed above were relative to directory where current module, derive.py, resides in, not the current working directory. At Brenbarn has already explained the star import case. For completeness, I will have to say the same smile. For example, you need to use a few math functions but you use them only in a single function. In Python 2 you were permitted to be semi-lazy. Note that it already triggers a warning in Python 2. In modern Python 2 code you should, and in Python 3 you have to do either. Or.
For relative imports, see the documentation. A relative import is when you import from a module relative to that module's location, instead of absolutely from sys.path. As for import, Python 2 allowed star imports within functions, for instance. A warning is issued for this in Python 2, at least recent versions. In Python 3 it is no longer allowed and you can only do star imports at the top level of a module, not inside functions or classes.
To support both Python 2 and Python 3, use explicit relative imports as below. They are relative to the current module. They have been supported starting from 2.5.
Added another case to Michał Gorny's answer. Note that relative imports are based on the name of the current module. Since the name of the main module is always _main_, modules intended for use as the main module of a Python application must always use absolute imports.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.